Hi there, back out in the Brecon Beacons, or Bannau Brycheniog as we're now supposed to call it, which I am absolutely in favour of. It's in Wales after all, isn't it? Anyway, I'm not going to tell you where I'm going. If you've just seen that waterfall, and you know, you know. Right, while I'm struggling up this hill, let me tell you where I am. I'm just to the east of the central beacons, but still in the beacons, or Bannau Brycheniog, as it's now, we're now asked to call it. And I'm doing a walk that the wife and I call the steps walk. There's a reason for that. And it's this, you see, steps all the way to the top. I can't film anymore. It's too hard going up here. I'm going to put the camera away, get my sticks out and struggle my way to the top of this, and then I'll talk to you when I get up there. I just realised I recorded this whole spiel about where Bannau Brycheniog comes from and didn't have the microphone on, which is a bit dim, so I best do it again, I guess. So Brycheniog, Bannau Beacons, Brycheniog is the name for the area, and it comes from a Welsh kingdom back in the 5th century. At that time, and for hundreds of years after that as well, Wales was divided into a set of kingdoms, and each had its own king. And of course there were lots of wars and treachery and, you know, all sort of things that go together across borders. But Brycheniog eventually came together in about 450, we think, or according to Wikipedia, and was ruled by a king called, I think, Brecon, probably translates to Brian later on, maybe, I don't know. And I went through his family and, you know, various bits and families, and there were odd fights, and it was a very complicated history back in those days. But basically Brycheniog stayed pretty much as it was until after the Norman invasion in 1066. Now what happened at that time was, over the next 30 years or so, there were some Saxon uprisings, rebellions against the Normans, and some of the Welsh kings, including Brycheniog, or Brycheniog, I'm not sure, supported the Saxons, so the Normans got a bit shirty about that. And about 1090, they took over Brycheniog and put it in charge of one of their Norman lords, French guy actually, and it became I think a marcher lordship, and then it stayed like that with, you know, various cousins taking over and bits of land coming and going, you know, all the sort of stuff that went on until the 16th century, by which time it was under the control of the Earls of Buckingham. Now the 3rd Earl of Buckingham was executed for treason against the king. So the king then, I can't remember which king it was, I'm not sure, whoever was king in 1535 anyway. So he took the lands back and subsequently put it under English law as the county of Brecon, or Brecnockshire. Brecnock being the sort of Norman version of Brycheniog. And it's been a county ever since. Of course, there's been several reorganisations, and at the moment the majority of what was Brycheniog is in Powys. Bits of it are under control of Caerphilly, Merthyr Tydfil, Blaen y Gwent, and even some over in the east in Monmouthshire. So that's where we are. So Brycheniog is at least, what's that, 1800 years old coming up, something like that. And it was an ancient Welsh kingdom. So there you go. I do think when you come into Wales, or even when you're talking about Welsh place names, you should, you know, out of respect, you should try and learn how to say them. And I've tried to do that over the years. I'm not saying I've got it right. I'm a forester from the Forest of Dean, and my English isn't exactly right, so I've got no, well, I've got some chance with Welsh. Anyway, we'll talk about that a bit later. I'm at the top of this escarpment now, so I'm going to walk around the edge. I'll show you some of the views as I go around. You know, for some reason I'm having a right nightmare with this filming today. I've already recorded a whole spiel with the mic switched off. And now I just did another one, except I only took a photo. I don't know what's going on. I'm a bit annoyed. So I'm just walking along this escarpment here, round the head of this valley, and I'm off up to a Hewitt that I've not camped on before. Part of my campaign to camp on all of them, with possible exception of Penavon. No great desire to go up there. Yeah, I was up on it a few weeks ago with Linda. We came out around this area for a walk, and we went up to the top of this hill to check out if there are pitches, and there are. There's a stream and a waterfall on the corner up here where I'm going to fill up with water. Save me dragging up to the plateau, and then I'll show you where I'm going to go. Pretty peaty water, as you'll have seen. I put some through the water filter. It comes out a lot less peaty, so I'll have to back flush the water filter when I get home, and for a bit of boiling to do, I'd say, but still, not to worry. So I've got to the northern escarpment now. You never guess what I did. When I filled up my water bottle with that horrible peaty water, I filtered some into a small bottle, and I've left the rest. I'll filter it later on. And I carried on at the path, and after about 2 minutes I thought, sticks. I'd only left my bloody sticks behind again, hadn't I? So I had to go back and get them. But at least this time I went back and got them. Honestly, I had like a sieve. But the thing is, I'm not so bothered this time, because if I lose one, I'm going to make sure it's this one. I don't know if you can see, this is the Mountain House stick. It's got all these pretty flowers on it. Very nice. So here's my view. There's Penavon, Cribbin, Corndee, Vannebeg over there. This is Powys. It's Brecon down there. I doubt you can see it on this camera. And I am going up there. Not far now. It's about 6:30, so I got about, I don't know, it's about a 20-minute walk up there, I think. The wind's getting up a bit, but yeah, it's fine. Let's see what I can leave behind this time. Didn't take long to get up here, about a quarter of an hour, so it'd be longer, but not to worry. And the wind is coming from that way, and they're in a lot of shelter, so I'm going to spend a bit of time looking for a pitch. In the meantime, let me show you the view. So over here, it's the ridge going along to Karrimor on the end there. Not sure what that little lump is. Is it Mynydtroid or something like that? Don't know. Black Mountains just in the mist. And then Llangorse Lake down there. This ridge goes on down that way. I'm going to go down there in a minute, look for a pitch, and central beacons over there. Oh, right, finally set up properly. So I got the Xmid up, but I had a bit of a fuss with it, to be honest. Either way, it's up, it's solid, it's not going to go anywhere. I think the 9-inch Easton pegs will help with that. And it's lovely. I really like it. Anyway, it's really quiet. It's starting to get really cold. You can see I put my woolly hat on now. My new hat to replace the Rab one I lost on the last trip on Dartmoor. I don't know, what an idiot. Okay, so I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna get a brew on and then I'll start cooking my tea. I'll just run you through what food I've got tonight. Something a bit different to what I've had before. Cheese and biscuits, of course, naturally, cheese and biscuits. I've got porridge for tomorrow morning. My usual tomato soup. I don't know how many times I've taken this out for a walk and then taken it home again. And then the main event tonight is I'm gonna try this. I don't know if you can read that. It's Ben's plant powered tikka masala. So it's basically sweet potato and chickpeas simmered in a delicious spiced tomato and coconut sauce. And I'm going to eat that with, I've got tomato to go with it and some cucumber, rice and yogurt, sorry, and rice. And then coffees and all the usual stuff. I tell you what, OXO with a little bit of peat doesn't taste that brilliant. I know my light's fallen over. I don't know. Some days you feel maybe you should have stayed at home. Do you reckon? Hey ho. Anyway, I am going to I'm going to put this porch up and then I'm going to start cooking my tea. So I just mix the rice in because, you know, life's too short, isn't it? So there we are. Tikka masala, yogurt, rice, cucumber and tomato. Yeah, so one vegetarian meal. I'll get that in me and catch up with you a bit later. Right, let's talk about Welsh for a minute then. I think it's respectful to try and at least try and pronounce the Welsh names for all the mountains and hills that we come in some sort of attempt at Welsh pronunciation. Welsh pronunciation is not trivial at all. They have a different set of letters in their alphabet as we do in English. So for instance, we don't have a consonant double D or double F or double L or CH. They're not consonants in English, but they are in Welsh, and there's more. We have letters like J, X, Z, K, and V. Welsh don't have those letters. And to be even more confusing, a W and a Y are vowels, not consonants. And Y is even more complicated because the way it sounds varies according to where it is in a sentence. And the best example for where we are at the moment would be the Welsh word for mountain, Mynydd. I think it's Mynydd. Okay? If I'm getting all this wrong, tell me in the comments, but you know, be gentle. So Mynydd is M-Y-N-Y double D. So the first Y and the second Y are pronounced differently. Mynydd. Yeah. The double D is a th sound. D is D, but double D is th, so Mynydd. Yeah. Then you've got the W, which is a vowel, and there's sort of a ooh. It's sort of a ooh sound. So Mynydd Mawr, M-A-W-R. Remember, every letter is pronounced Mawr. Mynydd Mawr. Yeah. Over here we have Penny Fan, as people call it. It's not. The Y on its own is a sound, so it's pen, and the F is a V, so Penny Van. The hill next to it is spelt C-O-R-N, corn, and then D-U, but the U is an E, so it's actually Corn D, not Corn Do, Corn D. Cribbin is as it sounds. It's got that Y in it, but it's in the second syllable, so it's a Cribbin. So there you go. I don't know if that's useful or even accurate, but you know, you get what you're given, don't you, on these things. Anyway, I'm going to finish my brew, finish my biscuits, finish my cheese. I'll catch up with you before I go to bed. So I'm ready for bed now. It's gone 11. I've had my brews and washed my teeth, all that stuff. Getting into bed now. I've changed into my night clothes. I'll take this puffy jacket off in a minute because I don't really need that. Well, I don't think so anyway. It's lovely and quiet here. This tent is, well, you can probably see, I don't know, can you see any sort of very gentle movement? There was a bit there, wasn't there? But it's rock solid in this wind. But yeah, just there's so much room, you know, it's lovely. Anyway, enough of a love-in for the Durston. I'm going to go to bed, and I will see you in the morning. No views today then. Well, I'm glad I didn't get up for the sunrise. Okay, time to put the kettle on, and then yeah. Get on there. So I've gone with the porridge. Oh, it's cold. I was packing up in the wind. Still, I knew it was coming, so I got no excuse. Leaving no trace, as you can see, just a bit flattened grass as usual. So I'll just get my bag on and find my way down. Well, I got myself down to the river, it's just over there, but I'm still in the mist. It's a bit annoying. So, still got nothing I can show you other than me walking towards and then away from the camera. So, pondering, should I take my coat off or not? Because it's quite, it's very misty and also very warm. So if I take my coat off, the fleece is going to get damp, and if I don't take my coat off, it's going to get damp. So I'm not sure what to do. Anyway, onwards. So I'm going to leave it here. A couple of things I want to say before I go though. Since my last video, I've gone over 500 subscribers. So I want to thank each and every one of you for that. That's, you know, for a tiny channel like mine, that's quite a milestone. And yeah, cheers. And if you're not subscribed, there's a little button somewhere you can press. And press the little bell for notifications. Big thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. And I hope to see you on the next one. Bye for now. Now I will wander off into the murk.